Welcome back to Thrifty Virgo Lefty. I know it's been a while. Today I decided to come back with a bonnet, a satin bonnet made with my Cricut Explorer 2, and I wanted to use some vinyl since I can't always find the fabric that I'm looking for. But what I want to do first is shout out Beautiful Bonnet Babes. Beautifulbonnetbabes.etsy.com has patterns that you can use for your bonnets, the same ones that I'm making. Let's get into it. So what I did first was I ironed out my two pieces because I'm going to do a double layer satin. I'm going to have satin on the inside, I'm going to have satin on the outside, but this is going to be the side that I'm going to apply my vinyl. Everything has already been cut out. I tried to make it as simple as possible, but I can do a more detailed video of how I created this in Cricut Explorer. Let me know if you need that. But anyway, this is the scrap vinyl I had. I did not have a lot of vinyl. I had maybe 2/3 of a roll left, and this is what I came up with. I cut them out, but of course, the preheated satin made it that much easier to go back in and apply this. So using my settings, believe I use between 290 and 295 is my temperature, and I just press it down for about 30 seconds by hitting my button after I apply these first. Now if I would have had more vinyl, I would have made my lines a little bit shorter and a little bit more fuller, but this is what I had going on. Y'all bear with me, don't be trying to eat me up down in the comments now. So I created 3 layers, no, 4, when I stretched this stuff out. But anyway, so I press it down for 30 seconds in each section because you want to make sure each section has that full 30 seconds, because once it cools off and you peel it back, you won't have any issues later. So I take my time and I go section by section. I want to make sure again I will include the entire area. So even if that's just like 4 Adidas signs at one time, that's just what I do. You take your time and you work your way through the garment. I promise you it's going to be amazing. So again, yeah, okay, my machine was on 295. Boom, there it is. So again, I do it for about 30 seconds, taking my time, working on my way all the way through. And this is just where I've moved the garment up some to be able to work at the bottom end. Because again, I did about 2 rows at the top, spaced it out, came down to the bottom, and repeated the same step. And I'm using my little desktop presser that I created because I really don't use an ironing board, and it's just that much easier to pull my little wooden square to do what I need to do. But anyway, so my second piece of satin, I iron out real good just to get the little lines out of it so it can, look really nice when I pull it together. And then what I'm going to do is do these right facing one another. So my pretty shiny sides are going to touch one another. My pretty shiny side and my design is going to touch one another. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around the entire perimeter. I'm going to use my clips. You can use pins if you like, but I'm going to use those, go all around the perimeter, and leave about a 2-inch gap to be able to turn it inside out. And while working, don't forget to do your back stitching first and do a straight stitch all the way around. When you get to the end, back stitch again to secure everything in place. And if you're using a needle and thread, just go ahead and do some wide stitches all the way around the garment until you get to your 2-inch space. Okay, my next step, I go ahead and cut whatever little excess I have left over. Sometimes I do have excess because I rather have more than enough than not enough fabric, and then I have a too small bonnet. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this inside out using a 2-inch space. I'm going to flatten it out, lay it out as best as I can. If you like, you can go ahead and press it down, but this one I'm going to go ahead and use my clips to lay it in place to be able to go and do my zigzag stitch around the perimeter. Now with this bonnet, I did I really did the little baby doll looking thing where it's extra scrunchy and girly at the end. So what I did, I went around the first time with my zigzag stitch. I still left about a 2-inch gap. Then I did a second stitch a little bit further inward, and then I went all the way around. I did not have to use any space for that one. So again, I had an outer stitch with the spacing, and then I did one on the inner, but it was about 3/4 an inch space in between my zigzag stitching. I did that because I was going to use the small elastic to put in between the two zigzag stitches to give it that extra scrunchy appearance. And honestly, on this video, I really didn't focus on the sewing technique as much. I wanted to show you the fun options that you can create, and be creative with your bonnets, because again, it's difficult to find fabric. If you want to make you something really cute, you can get your cute little SVG off of Etsy. That's what I normally do, and people that I know, they do the same thing, and just make it for yourself. That's what I do. So with that tiny stitch, I use my safety pins on each end, pin one to the garment, and then I take it and I shimmy it all the way around until I get to the other end to scrunch it up, and then I close it. And that right there made me a fun little bonnet. I have other bonnet tutorials available if this one is not the one for you. So yeah, again, I went back, stitched the end closed, and when I'm stitching the outer area, I use a straight stitch. Anything that I'm dealing with as far as doing the zigzag, I do zigzag all the way around, but to close it on the edge, that's a little straight stitch. And this is the end product. I hope you guys like it. See you next time.